Tonight,
I find it unworthy of the city manager.
Tension boils over
Is promoting theatrics.
and over.
How dare you?
As city councillors in Regina try to agree on a budget for next year. Also, a massive smash and grab in West Central Saskatchewan. Plus, a partnership that's led to innovation to help fight food insecurity in our province.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, December 18th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. It's been 4 days and Regina has yet to pass its budget for 2024. City councillors have agreed on a utility rate and a debt increase, but not much else. Alexander Kwan has been at City Hall for the entire debate and has more on why there is such a delay.
Regina's City Council has a problem. After 4 days of budget deliberations, many councillors are no closer to agreeing on several financial decisions. Part of the problem is the hostility on display between members of council and city employees.
Part of it is some of the, I would call it theatrics, that's going on in the public domain.
I find it unworthy of the city manager when she refers to the theatrics in the media and implicates some of the most prominent and respected citizens, in our community.
How dare you take this away from the disabled community? The community that was so excited to finally go down a goddamn water slide.
That last outburst from Ward 7 Councillor Tarina Nelson last week resulted in her microphone being cut off by Mayor Sandra Masters, who says she has more serious tools at her disposal, like having a councillor removed.
I think that if someone is passionate about something and wants to express their frustration or their passion for it, in some respects you got to let that fly. But
Masters says they can't have people yelling and swearing at each other. The fraying relationships on council have dragged out many conversations with interruptions, accusations, and outbursts. Take this interaction late Monday.
This feels like this could go on all day, and it feels honestly like not very respectful of everybody's time at this point. So.
Excuse me, just respectfully, I asked the other day to try to get some funding mechanisms identified. There wasn't a lot put on the table. I took the time over the weekend to try to figure out how things are funded to try to get some of the action back into the center of the city, which is supposed to be our #1 problem to solve.
There have been 3 members that haven't been allowed to ask questions twice, and that would be yourself and Councillor Pandura and Councillor Stanachuk. If nobody else wants to ask a question, I guess that's fair, but it would seem that you're showing a bit of preferential treatment to yourself in terms of ability to ask questions.
Moving to a 2-year budgeting process was supposed to make these debates easier, and on Monday, City Council settled on a 3% increase to the utility rate and an increase to the debt limit. But City Council has yet to agree to a capital or operational budget for the city, which means this debate isn't over, and neither are the fireworks. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
The opposition NDP is criticizing the government for closing at least 53 different hospital services between August of 2019 and July of 2023. The party says the information was found in a Freedom of Information, or FOI, request filed back in February, and the details were just released today. Documents show there were at least 951 closures to emergency rooms, hospital labs, and other services during that period. The NDP says the results of the FOI indicate a weakening healthcare system in the province.
These service closures worsened dramatically in 2022 and are projected to have worsened even further in 2023. Emergency rooms are being hit the hardest, with 407 distinct closures amounting to 3,029 lost days, or a little over 8 years of emergency room care lost for Saskatchewan people. Basic radiography and laboratory services used to screen for things like cancer and broken bones are also being severely impacted.
The NDP says the province failed to meet several deadlines, causing a delay in obtaining and sharing the information. The party says it received the documents on December 8th after waiting 11 months. We reached out for comment from the Ministry of Health, but did not receive a response in time for our show. RCMP in West Central Saskatchewan are searching for suspects after a dramatic withdrawal over the weekend at a small town credit union near the Alberta border. Jesse Anton reports.
RCMP say these two vehicles spotted here on security footage from a business across the street are both stolen. The truck, what's believed to be the getaway car, was taken from the nearby town of Leader on Saturday. The front loader was stolen from the RM of Deer Fork shop just down the road here in Burstall. And early Sunday morning, that loader was used to smash into this credit union to grab this ATM and empty it, leaving behind a mess of debris.
Oh yeah, everyone's pretty shocked. It's unsettling, that's for sure.
The RM says people in the town of roughly 400 are feeling uneasy and wondering how long the plan for this break-in was in the works.
You know, there's a few shops around town. They didn't go anywhere else to check. They knew it was in there. So they gained entry, and yeah, I think that they'd been scoping it out for a while is my guess.
The RM estimates the damage to its shop to be around $2,000 plus the expense of fixing its loader. And the credit union is still working with its insurance company to see what it will cost to repair the corner of this building.
Nothing else was compromised. All member information was still, computers weren't obtained and nothing like that. Everything was still secure. We believe their intent was to just remove that ATM, and they got out of there quickly.
The credit union says it's still unclear when its Burstall location will reopen. For now, its two full-time employees have been shifted to other branches. Meanwhile, RCMP say they found the stolen truck in the nearby hamlet of Liebenthal. None of the cash has been recovered, and Mounties are still looking for at least two people. But they haven't released any information about who they might be. Jesse Anton, CBC News, Regina.
Meanwhile, in Regina, a woman is facing multiple charges in connection to a carjacking that left several downtown businesses with damage. It happened early Saturday morning. Police say a 32-year-old woman stole a taxi and crashed it into storefronts on Broad and Hamilton during a chase. The taxi ended up ramming through the 11th Avenue entrance of the Cornwall Centre. Then, police say it drove through the mall doors to the other doors near Saskatchewan Drive before getting hung up on stairs. The woman accused appeared in court this morning. She's charged with robbery, evading police, and dangerous driving, among other things. The damaged businesses are back open, in some cases with adjustments. After nearly 6 years, Saskatoon's police chief, Troy Cooper, is stepping down from the job next month. Cooper sat down with our Dan Zakreski to talk about being top cop in a city that has had a complicated relationship with its police.
Troy Cooper didn't get much of a grace period when he took the top job back in 2018. The city set a record for homicides that year, 13 violent deaths. And then, in 2019, another record with 16 people killed. And then, 2020 hit. You took the job in early 2018.
Right.
And within a couple of years, I called them icebergs. Things approached you in your job that you had really no control over, and yet you had to deal with as the chief of a police force. The shockwaves from the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis in May of 2020 reached Saskatoon the next month.
Early on, there was a march that came to the police station. And there's about 3,000 people, and they started downtown and they came here. And so we had staff that wanted to go out and march with them. It was a march against racism. And so we had staff, with black officers and just the civilian staff and other officers that wanted to participate, and we thought this is awesome, right? And then we realized they were marching to the police station because we were sort of seen as an institution that supported racism or that had racial bias, and it was quite an awakening, to be honest.
It was an awakening that extended beyond the city's black community.
So I think we needed to be more sensitive, and then also to recognize that we won't know which community next needs our support. So, I mean, the Ukrainian community, for example, we always connected with them, but now more than ever, they need support, certainly from the police. And throughout COVID, we had the Chinese community here that needed to be supported and connected to policing.
Cooper says COVID challenged police because not all officers or people in Saskatoon supported the new masking and distancing rules.
That was a surprise to me, and I don't know if I just was naive, but I didn't expect to see that, and we saw it, and I don't know why I would not expect it, because in every industry there was a percentage of people that didn't feel the government policies were appropriate, and we had the same in our building, and that's legitimate, but I didn't expect to see it, and so we had to manage that too.
One constant for him has been the rising cost of policing. The police budget went up by about 4% a year, each year. Cooper says police are called on to do more, responding to calls related to homelessness and overdoses.
As there are more social issues that create an unsafe environment, there's going to have to be more response, and if that response is policing, then it's going to cost money.
But it will be up to Cooper's replacement to deal with that as he retires in January. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
In an effort to fight food insecurity, researchers from the University of Saskatchewan have partnered with the Food Centre in Saskatoon. They've developed a soup mix that will be an affordable, healthy option for food banks to use. The dry mix is made primarily with locally sourced oats and lentils. Each packet produces 4 to 5 cups of soup. The Food Centre is capable of producing 15,000 packets a day, and as part of this pilot run, the U of S has donated 15,000 packets to Regina and Saskatoon food banks.
At a time of record food insecurity, food banks in our province are spending millions buying food. So it's a feel-good story, but it's a very practical story that will get soup on the tables of families all across our province, nutritious and affordable food. So we not only feed the world, but we're showing that we can feed our neighbors here at home. Much like Saskatchewan families, food banks are experiencing rising costs when we buy food. The Regina Food Bank will spend over $1 million a year buying food. So this will cut our soup costs actually in half.
According to Food Banks Canada, the increasing cost of food and housing and inflation have contributed to a rise in food bank usage right across the country. The Regina Food Bank says 1 in 5 Saskatchewan children are food insecure, and that problem is getting worse year over year. Well, we are 1 week out from Christmas, and the weather is still really not committing to winter. In Saskatoon, rinks are being flooded today, and if the temperature will stay cool enough, there might be some rinks for shinny on Christmas Eve. And there sure are a lot of geese still on the river in Saskatoon as well. A little hard to convince them to go south when it's not very cold yet. Ethan will have your updated forecast after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. No snow means no money for some companies that depend on snow for their revenue. The owner of Benny's Yardworks in Saskatoon says he's getting creative just to stay in business.
I really want some snow to fall. My wife will kill me for saying this, but I don't want to see her on Christmas morning. I want to be out clearing parking lots. Around this time of year, we are shoveling snow and putting on ice melt and skid steering parking lots, but not this year. So we started looking into opening up other services that we offer throughout the summertime, like hedge trimming, tree removal, pruning, whatnot, anything that we can do safely in the winter time. And so we kind of looked into those venues and getting a little bit more creative and going outside of our wheelhouse that we normally do, like garbage disposal, and we started a new Christmas cleanup special for people that do have big family gatherings. We'll come pick up your recycling that morning, tell your neighbors sort of thing, and we'll just load my trailer up and we'll go recycle it for you so you don't have to worry about it this season. This was definitely a struggle considering we're a new business. We made a lot of investments going into the winter here that were supposed to pay off based off of last year, and here we are kind of hoping for the best. So it's been definitely a difficult start to this year.
This weather update is brought to you by Titan Automotive, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. Are you going to play Santa Claus and bring some snow to people who really want it, need it?
I think those people are just going to have to keep getting creative, especially in the southern half of the province. Yeah, we're trying to muster up some snow, but none to be found. In fact, through a lot of south and central Saskatchewan today, we had some sunshine here and there, and any precipitation that's falling is mostly rain. A low-pressure system in Alberta is bringing through some mixed precipitation, a little bit of rain, snow there, and that is starting to cross the border a little bit into Saskatchewan. Nothing measurable, though, and you can really see where the center of that low is, because those are those really warm temperatures kind of in the foothills of Alberta, and that has spread its way eastward into portions of south and central Saskatchewan, and really a lot of us sitting in sort of those minus single digits today. Add a little bit of a wind. We do have a wind chill factor in northern Saskatchewan. It's been a little bit breezy in eastern sections today, but as that low starts to move in, those winds starting to die down. Now for northern Saskatchewan, a bit of a different story here. I think there is a bit of snow in store for you folks there. Before that, the cold front from this low pressure system going to drop temperatures into the minus 20s for daytime highs tomorrow, especially in the far north. That just means that we'll be mostly cloudy through south and central tomorrow. And then there is a slight chance, I'm not really sure how well this is going to develop, but there could be a band of some light snow flurries, maybe Tuesday night into Wednesday. But again, it's not very much. The bulk of it is going to be falling in northern Saskatchewan. As we head through the day on Wednesday, we begin to clear out in south and central as we head toward the end of the work week. And it could be quite substantial snow in some places, 5 to 10 centimeters possible, especially in the far north. La Ronge and kind of through the northern grain belt, less so, probably about 2 to 3 centimeters there. And when that system moves through, that's the next best chance for winds to start picking up, 30 to 40 kilometers an hour, generally from the southeast as we head into Wednesday, Thursday in south and central, and picking up a little bit more than that at times in the north. Now, of course, the other thing we're watching is our temperatures. A slight ridge developing in the jet stream all goes away by the time we hit midweek, but the jet stream still flowing right over the province and kind of in a zonal flow from west to east, as you see here. So not too much happening in terms of our weather, and that means that, as you'll see on our extended forecast for Regina, things don't really change all that much. Happy first day of winter on Thursday. It'll be 3 degrees with sunshine, feeling more maybe like the middle of October. And then Friday, Saturday arrives, and we're looking at some sunny conditions with temperatures just above the freezing mark. We do drop temperature-wise, but look at that, Christmas. We're really not looking at any moisture. We'll still be above normal. Saskatoon, we're looking at temperatures around -2 tomorrow, again, mostly cloudy. Your first day of winter will also be sitting just above the freezing mark, and some sunshine with temperatures near freezing for Saturday, Sunday before you drop off a little bit Sunday into Monday. So instead of planning an escape to a warm location, Sam, I think some people planning an escape to northern Saskatchewan for Christmas.
I almost oohed and awed for that snow until you said you don't think it's going to amount to much.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Well, it started as the childhood dream of someone who grew up without a Christmas tree at home. Now, it's a theme park in central Croatia. The owner began decorating his garden with 70,000 lights in 2001, and it sits grown to cover his vast family estate with 5 million lights. It attracts about 100,000 visitors every year. We'll be back after the break. There's growing concern over the growing number of seniors going missing in this country, and health officials warn Canada's aging population could only make the problem worse. Sarah Levitt now on why many seniors are getting lost and how families are pushing for more help.
It's been an exhausting, anxious week for Doug Moberg. His 81-year-old brother Earl, who suffers from dementia, went missing in Winnipeg on Tuesday.
Well, we're doing the best we can. I mean, it's really hard. You never think this is going to happen to you or your family, but here we are.
And his family's not alone. As Canada's senior population grows, so too does the number of people diagnosed with dementia. The Public Health Agency of Canada now says at least 1 in 4 people over 85 have dementia, and with that comes an increased risk of confusion, even getting lost. Police in Montreal, Winnipeg, and Saskatoon have all seen an increase in reports of missing people over 60.
My father, he lived with Alzheimer's disease.
For Sam No, it's personal. 10 years ago, No's 64-year-old father, Shin, went out for a walk near his home in Coquitlam, British Columbia, and didn't return.
There was a massive search effort. We had our community go out and search for him, but we have no idea about his whereabouts. There's no closure even to this day.
No wants a public notification system called Silver Alerts used in Manitoba to be implemented in BC. It would alert residents to missing seniors in the area, but advocates say even more needs to be done.
While we have a national dementia strategy, we don't really have collective programs or the awareness that we need.
Most people suffering from dementia will remain in their homes, not in assisted living.
The Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia has created an entire system that we're hoping that the rest of the country picks up on, which trains businesses and communities alike on how to recognize a person with dementia and how to help them.
As the population ages, she says, the problem will get worse and the time for action is now. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
And after a day clouding over in Regina, we'll continue to see those clouds at midnight tonight. -4, you notice the winds really dying down, though. By tomorrow morning, that'll continue to be the case wind-wise, but we'll be fully clouded over, sitting at -6. There is a chance that we could see some clearing in the afternoon, maybe mid-afternoon hours, but by the noon hour, likely still looking at cloudy conditions, sitting at -1. That's likely about where we'll end up temperature-wise. Saskatoon, a bit more of a sky to see tonight, but then that clears over, or clouds over, I should say, by tomorrow morning. And heading into the afternoon, we'll likely see more cloud cover kind of as we go mid-afternoon, a bit of the opposite of Regina there, sitting around -4 with some more warmer and sunnier days to come, Sam.
I'll take the sunshine. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And before we leave you, Venue B just opened up last week in Regina and is a 100% Indigenous-owned coffee shop. Some locals may recognize it as the old longtime coffee shop Brewed Awakening on Dewdney. The space will offer Indigenous arts and business and is intended to offer Indigenous people a place to feel welcome and safe. The owner is from Cowessess First Nation, and after working for Crown Corporations for 20 years, she wanted to create her own opportunities. She hopes opening the shop inspires more Indigenous people to become entrepreneurs.
There aren't many Indigenous businesses in the warehouse area, and so I wanted a space where Indigenous people can come in and be greeted by an Indigenous owner and then just sit here, enjoy, have your coffee, have your meetings, and just be in a space with other folks. It's pretty amazing to wake up and know that I own this beautiful space, and you know, if people are asking, well, what are you having for today? Are you going to have bannock in the future? I say I absolutely can.
Because the Venus Bee Kitchen is tiny, Brooks is hoping to partner with other Indigenous kitchens to offer more food. The shop's soft opening brought in many coffee drinkers and Indigenous city folk to enjoy her fresh brewed coffee. The beans served come from an Indigenous-owned company in BC called Spirit Bear Coffee. And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/Sask, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app on your phone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.